Hey friends, it's Ann with Social Media for Churches. I'm a pastor. I have been using social media in my ministry for over 10 years. So I know what it is like to be a pastor, especially a solo pastor, which is how I have typically served. And you're underfunded and you're overworked and you don't have the resources or the time to do a lot with your social media ministry. So I try to bring you easy to use, easy to access ways to make your social media more effective. And here is a very fun and easy way to kind of do a check on your own social media. You can look at what's already there and you can think about this as you plan future posts. And that is, pull up that old song from your childhood, Old MacDonald Had a Farm. How does it go? EIEIO. Think EIEIO. Because you want your post to be doing one of these 5 things. EIEIO. E. Are you educating people? Now, educating could be telling them about something that's going to happen, but it's also telling them something about what your church believes, or what's going on in your denomination, or explaining what a narthex is to people. One of the great things we can do with social media is educate people about our churchy language that can be so foreign to so many. So E. Is this a post that is educating, teaching someone something? Telling them something is happening, explaining a term, talking about theology, teaching about a Bible lesson. Are you educating? EI, inspiring. Is this post inspiring people? Now keep in mind, one post doesn't have to do all of these things. It should be doing at least 1 and possibly 2 of the EIEIO elements. So is it inspiring? Will I read this post and feel inspired to feel closer to God, to feel better about myself, to take some sort of action for the betterment of humanity? Is it inspiring? Okay, we're on to the second E. Is your post encouraging? Now that's different from inspiring. Is it encouraging? It is encouraging people to have a closer relationship with God. Is it encouraging people to feel good about themselves and their ability to have a good relationship with God and to have a strong faith life? So many people out there, y'all, and you will come in contact with them if you haven't already in your social media ministry, have been made to feel really crummy about themselves by the churches they attended. Churches that have told them they are not good enough, that their faith is not strong enough, that God doesn't love them unless they do da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Are you posting things that are encouraging people in their faith journey? There is so much in this world to discourage us. Make sure you are part of the world that is giving out encouragement. So, education, inspiration, encouragement, inquiry, which means asking questions. Y'all, that is one of the best ways to get people to engage with your social media platforms. And again, remember, you're creating this coffee hour, not a bulletin board on your social media platforms. I say that a lot. So ask people questions. But here's the thing with the questions, y'all. Don't go on too much of a deep dive with these questions. Nobody is scrolling through social media and deciding that now is the time they are going to ponder what they believe to be about the nature of salvation and how salvation actually works and what their theology of the cross is. Yeah, those are not questions to ask. You can ask, first of all, you can ask non-churchy questions, really seemingly inane questions, but they get people to engage and get to know each other. Yeah, what's the favorite book you're reading right now? You could even say, it's summer cookout time. Are you hamburger or hot dog people? It gets people engaged. It gets people talking. But if you want to ask churchy questions, you can ask things that are pretty easy to answer. Do you have a favorite book of the Bible? Is there a scripture you turn to again and again that inspires you or comforts you? If you could be any character in the Bible, who would you be? Anything like that. There are more lighthearted questions that you can ask people about their faith, about their relationship with God, and about the Bible. So just think, when you're asking questions, this is not the time to take a deep dive. That can come later. So we've got EIEIO. O is onboarding. And I use that rather than welcome. I don't know if you know this. I've made some videos about this. But the word welcome has become a little bit of a red flag, sadly. There are many churches out there who talk about we are welcoming, and then people come to that church and they go, yes, we are welcoming, but you're going to have to change to stay here. So for a lot of people, this idea of we are welcoming and everyone is welcome is a little bit loaded. So onboarding, for the EIEIO part, onboarding is this post a way of bringing people in to your community? Now, that doesn't always mean getting people to put their butts in your pews on Sunday morning, because quite frankly, you are going to reach people in social media, through social media, who are never going to put their butts in your pews on Sunday morning for a number of reasons. They've been burned by church, they are working on Sunday morning, they got kids in sports, or they are simply too tired and that is the one day they get to sleep late. All sorts of reasons people are not going to put their butts in your pews on Sunday morning. But what are other ways that you can onboard and welcome people into your community? What else are you doing outside of Sunday morning? I know there's stuff. So make sure that these people know, hey, here are some ways that you can engage in the ministry of this church that don't necessarily involve putting your butts in our pews on Sunday morning. And oh, by the way, here are some online ways that you can connect with our church. Are you getting our emails? Do you know we're doing a Zoom Bible study? Are you following us on all of our socials? Think about how you are onboarding people who follow you on social media to become a deeper and more meaningful part of your community. And that can look like a lot of different things. So this is a great way to check on your current social media postings and think about as you are planning future postings. EIEIO. Is it educating, inspiring, encouraging, inquiring, and or onboarding? Posts can do more than one. Hopefully they do 2 or 3, but every post you make on social media should do one of those 5 things. Sing it to yourself, let the earworm sink in. EIEIO for a more effective and engaging social media ministry.